It is the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. Welcome into Band of Bettors, a sports betting show looking to help you become more data driven. We are back with another jam packed episode. Brad Kronthal here with my brother Spencer. We are of Alloy Sports. What an exciting to the max level super wild card weekend, and so pumped for the next round. Spencer, what was your favorite, moment game of last week?
Oh my God, it's impossible to pick one. But I mean, if I had to pick one, Jacksonville, 27 points down. Trevor Lawrence having a historically awful performance. I mean, 4 interceptions. And he comes back with one of the most historically great performances of the second half, 4 touchdowns. His line now looks even. And they come back and win. Incredible.
27-point comeback, a fumble recovery for a touchdown on a quarterback sneak, and a kicker that missed 4 extra points in a row. I mean, we had it all in Super Wild Card weekend. So, wanted to take you back. We'll start with last week. Go over a few trends that hit. So the first thing that was really interesting to me is that the underdogs, if you got the closing line of every game, the underdogs went 4-2 against the spread last week. A trend we saw all season, not necessarily something that translates perfectly to the playoffs, but it hit last week. A lot of our strategies looked at those underdogs, and we did quite well. So 3 of our best performing strategies last week. The road grader went 2-1. That one's free. We've been pushing that since week 1. The ground and pound strategy last week, 3-0. Jacksonville, New York Giants, and Baltimore. They all cover at that closing line. And lastly is our defensive pressure strategy. If you've been watching, I've been using that strategy, for months now. That also went 3-0 against the spread. Jacksonville, Miami, and the New York Giants. Who'd have thought Miami would be in a chance to win the game, let alone cover, with Skylar Thompson at quarterback? I mean, what a wild card weekend. Awesome.
Crazy to think Mike McDaniel was ever even on the hot seat given this situation. Talk about making the most with absolutely nothing.
Absolutely. Incredible. I mean, I think teams will be chomping at the bit to get him, but that's an episode for another day, Spencer, because you and I also have our wager going on. We pick every game throughout the NFL playoffs, and the winner will get a steak dinner paid for by the loser. And the city, of course, is in Chicago, where you live right now. So the state capital of the world. So last week, I went 4-2. Spencer, you went 2-4. It was fun, but
And
we
I'll
didn't
say
always agree with each other.
this is the importance of betting with a strategy or a system, which I did not do last week.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I don't know why you wouldn't. So it's kind of like the games that we saw pop up a lot on our strategies. I bet with them, and the games that didn't show up as much, I bet on the opponent, thinking that the favorite would be more likely to come out with a spread cover there, and you did. But you were the beneficiary because we record this on Tuesdays. You did get the Ravens line at -6.5 when you took Cincinnati, and you won that bet on this show, even though the closing line would have had Baltimore covering the spread in that one. Awesome. So I think we get right into it. Spencer, let's talk about the divisional week, and we can start with the games that we like getting into it. And you want to kick us off? We'll start Jacksonville in Kansas City.
All right, well, I'm going to go strategy based, and I'm going to take Jacksonville. I like Kansas City to win this game. Kansas City, they got rested. There's always the give and takes for is having that extra week off, good or bad. I think Jacksonville's going to come out really tough this week again. Right now, the spread's at 8.5, so I'm going to jump on that.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you again on Jacksonville. We both like the Jags. Last week, they are firing on all cylinders. I can see this line going down a bit. Kansas City struggled this year, and they definitely struggled against the spread in a lot of games. This is a heavy underdog situation as far as the number and the line is concerned for the Jaguars. They are in the road grader strategy, and they are also in the defensive pressure strategy. So 2 of the 3 strategies I just mentioned that had successful weeks last week, I'm going to continue to ride with the Jaguars if they are in those 2. That's the data backing up my theory. Teams coming off a divisional or a wild card bye, we've seen it go both ways. We've seen some teams come off on fire, fully rested. We've also seen some teams come out and look a little rusty. I don't know how I feel about both 1 seeds this week. I like Jacksonville to cover. I think it's going to be an interesting game. So I'm agreeing with you. I like Jacksonville in this game. Next one on the docket, we're going to look at the Giants at the number one seeded Philadelphia Eagles. This one also a pretty hefty spread. Those one seeds getting some love. Divisional matchup, NFC East. Eagles hosting the Giants. Who do you like?
So most of my strategies don't necessarily have a play on this, but the drive extenders, which I've been running with a lot of the year, does have the Giants to cover. I think you look at this as a divisional matchup, 7.5 points. You get the extra benefit of that a half point over the touchdown spread. I think I'm going to run with the Giants with this one. I think they'll, with their style of play, running the ball well, Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley spreading the wealth. I think they've got a chance to keep this one close. Philly obviously gave them fits in the regular season. This is the playoffs. Running the ball travels well. Solid defense travels well. I think the Giants can cover this one.
Yeah, every time I've bet against Philadelphia this year, it has not been pretty. They don't just win, they come out and absolutely demolish the team that I bet on. So I don't feel confident betting against Philly at all this year in any sense. I learned my lesson a couple times. However, when you look at the facts, you have Jalen Hurts coming off an injury. I really don't think that's going to be that big of a problem. He was so the receiving core has been immaculate. The running game may be an issue, but the Giants are playing hot, and I like Wink Martindale. I like the Giants defense. Daniel Jones, he has transformed under Mike Kafka and Brian Daboll. He has become a reliable, competent quarterback that we've never seen throughout his entire career to this point. I have the Giants not in too many strategies, but again, they're in my defensive pressure strategy. And when you're a heavy underdog in this strategy, you have hit 67% of games since the beginning of this season. If it was around
running with the numbers,
354, I may go Philly here. This line's going to move. I don't know where it's going to move. I don't see it going anywhere under a touchdown. Maybe it moves up a little more. So I might wait a little bit longer. But I think the Giants, it's a third matchup in a division game. I'm going to go with the Giants to cover the spread here. So we're going to split again. Here's your opportunity to cut into my lead or my opportunity to extend it. Next on the docket, Bengals at Buffalo. This one's going to be very interesting. The Bills coming off a shockingly close game against the Miami Dolphins in the wild card weekend. No one saw that coming. Bills, my pick to win the Super Bowl. Bengals really struggled. Probably don't deserve to be here. Outplayed by Baltimore last week. A few very fortunate plays that bounced their way and some bad play calling. I mean, porous play calling and clock management on the Ravens side last week really led to a Bengals win. And it's more so that I think, Spencer, you and I both felt that the Ravens lost that game more than the Bengals won that game, but give credit where credit's due. Cincinnati advances, but they are without 3 offensive linemen. How do you like this line? Some books have it at +5. We're looking at FanDuel. It's +4.5 right now.
Yeah, this one's tight. You can obviously imagine emotions are running high on both sides. This is the rematch of, the canceled game 2 weeks ago after the Damar Hamlin incident. This game's got a lot attached to it. Like you said, I think this could come down to the O-line of Cincinnati being out 3 starters. I'm not reading too much into last week's games really on either side. Miami obviously on their 3rd-string quarterback, Baltimore on their 2nd string, and Baltimore's offense are reeling as well. The name of the playoffs is survive and advance. Both teams managed to do that. I look at this. Drive extender strategy has Cincy +5. At +4.5, it's tight. It's close. I find it difficult to see Buffalo losing this game. And I'm going to go against that. I'm not too confident in the close underdog section of it. I'm going to ride with Buffalo.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's strategies that like the Bengals. 5's one of the weirdest numbers in sports betting. If you ask any handicapper, it's a really weird place to sit in football betting. And I don't love any of the close underdog numbers either. There's one strategy I am going to ride with in this, and this is our balanced O strategy. One of the last forecasts we put out this season looks at balanced offenses, And this one favors the Bills, and this one's hit at 58% this season for, um, these games, close favorites. Now that it's 4.5, and I'm gonna ride with Buffalo too. My Super Bowl pick. I think they're at home. They had a week to get in the playoffs, get some rust off. Josh Allen, I don't think is going to make those stupid mistakes, and I think they're going to take apart Cincinnati. I really like Cincinnati as a dark horse coming into this, but without an offensive line, I mean, you're in trouble. You're not going to get too far like that. I think Burrow can keep them in it, and I think it will be a close-ish game, but I think Buffalo's able to cover at the end of the day. So we're both on Buffalo here, and that's interesting. Which takes us to our final game of the weekend in the divisional round. Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers. If this game was played in the 90s, it would be one of the greatest matchups ever. It's a great matchup this weekend as well. Dallas is +4 on the road facing Brock Purdy and those Niners, who in the first half of last week seemed like they might be in trouble against Seattle. And then they got their act together and absolutely blew the doors off in the second half. Where are you leaning?
Well, this one's interesting to me. Where if this comes down to a kicking game, I'm absolutely siding with San Francisco. Robbie Gold's been automatic. And
it's actually not favored in the Legatron game. The Legatron strategy only favors Cincinnati this week.
Well, didn't factor in the 4 extra points. That's a field goal based strategy, which
Right.
Brett Maher's been fine with. I'm looking at this one. I don't really have many strategies that are saying to pick this one. Obviously, we're picking every game. As I look at this, it's interesting just to break it down. Dallas, talk about flipping the script. Dak Prescott went from the most turnover-prone quarterback over the last half of the season since he came back from injury. 5 touchdowns, no turnovers last week. Or yesterday, for that matter, against Tampa. People like Tampa. I think I had picked Tampa to cover at least last week. San Fran looks like a juggernaut, though. So you kind of have the unpredictable Cowboys against what very well could be the best team in football. The way Brock Purdy's playing has been awesome. I think -4, I think it's close enough. I think San Fran's going to win this game.
Yeah, this is the game to me that defines Dallas. This is a game they've not won in decades. Can they get over the hump right now? I think this is just a game I'm most excited to watch next week because it puts a lot of questions to bed. Will San Francisco do what we think they should do and continue to steamroll teams? Or do they finally slip up because they have a 7th-round rookie quarterback starting? And Dallas, with all the talent they have, it always seems like they reach a point to where, well, if they're going to take that next step, here's where they have to do it and they have to win, and they just don't do it. This would be that big next step. And if they win this game, I could see them making a run at the Super Bowl. It hasn't happened yet. They're in the ground and pound strategy. They're favored +4. I can't go Dallas though until it's proven. I want to so badly. I like the Cowboys. I like them a lot this year. I can see it happening though. I really can. But until it's proven, I gotta go with you, Spencer. I like the 49ers. They're so lethal. Just McCaffrey, the offense, Shanahan, the defense is opportunistic. They're getting sacks. I am not going to bet against San Francisco at home. Last week,
until this is the Super Bowl, I'm riding with Shanahan. Once it's the Super Bowl second half,
you got to.
I'm not.
You got to, but I think this is going to be an intriguing matchup. That either way, it's going to be a fun game. I could see Dallas coming out there and slinging it, and nobody saw it coming. This could be their year. I really love Tony Pollard. But at the end of the day, San Fran's at home, and Dallas hasn't done it yet, so we'll wait and see. So just to take a look, I think it's always good to look at those Super Bowl odds every week. Spencer, you obviously have Kansas City in your mock winning the Super Bowl. I have Buffalo. They're 1-2. If you want to get in right now, good numbers still. 3-1 odds if you like the Chiefs, 33-1 odds if you like the Bills, and then so on and so forth. Dallas, like I said, if they win this game, I think, they have a really good shot at getting there. I really feel that. I think they can knock off Philadelphia. They're at +850. That's a lot of value to be had there. Any other numbers that jump out to you on this board right now, Spencer, of a team that, maybe they're a sneaky competitor for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I was going to say it was kind of funny to press show more, just to even see the Giants and the Jaguars there. I think you made a good point with Dallas. If
I
they can
don't
get
see
past
that.
this, oh, those two aren't happening. I think Dallas. I think Dallas is interesting. You throw a divisional matchup if they can get by San Fran. You throw a divisional matchup in the conference championship, anything can happen. Outside of that, I look at the top. I look at the top three as really separating themselves on a different level. KC, Buffalo, and San Fran. I see this one really running more by the book. Honestly, it's hard for me to waver from that.
Absolutely. So that's our rundown for the divisional round. We're excited for an incredible week here of football. We should learn a lot this week, and I think we'll have a lot to talk about right afterwards as well. The good news is after week one, both our full Super Bowl matchups are in. Obviously, yeah, Kansas City didn't have to worry there, and I had Philly as the runner-up, so I didn't have to worry there. But Spencer, you've got Kansas City and San Francisco, and I've got Buffalo and Philadelphia. We're still alive in the Super Bowl picks here, but I think heading into this week, it's going to be there's going to be a few surprises that we don't expect. So excited to find that out.
And
But
I think we
anyway,
should wait. I think we should wait our bets, by round, just so I can come back in the steak, in the running for the steak dinner.
yeah, I figured you would say that. So we'll see how to do that. But no, it's overall, and I look forward to coming to Chicago and getting a nice steak. So. Thanks for tuning in. This is the divisional round, Band of Bettors. We'll see you next week to break that all down and preview the conference championships. Season's flying. Fun time to get in the betting space and win some money. Brad and Spencer Kronthal, Alloy Sports. We'll see you next week.